Good morning and welcome to this international seminar, Food Price Volatility, Looking for Viable Policy Approaches, organized by the European project ULYSSES, which is coordinated by the Universidad Politécnica Madrid through CEIGRAM, and with the co-organization and co-sponsorship of the World Bank, Forum for Agricultural Risk Management, and United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. My name is Carlos Conde. I am the rector of the Universidad Politécnica Madrid, and I have the pleasure to be accompanied in the presidence of this table in the act by the General Secretary of the Spanish Minister of Agriculture, Food and Environment, Ms. Isabel García Toferina. Thanks. By Professor Alberto Garrido, coordinator of the project ULYSSES and director of the CEIGRAM at the Universidad Politécnica Madrid, by Mr. Tasos Aniotis, director of economic analysis of the DG, Agricultural and Rural Development, and by Mr. Jim Bali, project manager of the FAO. To all of them, as well the rest of you, I am grateful for your presence. And without further ado, I would like to give the floor to the representative of the FAO, Mr. Bali. Mr. Bali.
Thank you, muchas gracias. Dear Honorable Dean, distinguished members of the podium, dear colleagues, on behalf of FAO and with my FAO colleagues here present, I'm very pleased to be part of this international seminar on price volatility, and we thank you very much for the invitation. This seminar will discuss a very important topic because predictable and stable food prices and policies are crucial to achieve food security, not only within a given country, but also across regions and in the world. Since the work of the high-level panel of experts of the CFS, the Committee on World Food Security, it is broadly recognized that price volatility may have adverse or very adverse impacts, and these on farmers, consumers, and in the economy as a whole. Policy responses to high food prices, but also to price volatility, have varied and in some cases exacerbated price volatility. We therefore welcome that the focus of this seminar is on policy. In FAO, the Trade and Markets Division, EST, together with the Agricultural Development Economics Division, ESA, work together on price volatility and policies. In EST, the focus is mostly on international markets and related price volatility and policies, while in ESA, the focus is more on domestic markets, price volatility and related policies, with greater emphasis on the staple food commodities. We are happy to host the ULYSSES project in FAO and in our division in particular. The contributions of the ULYSSES project are very important, and we will continue our collaboration with the members of the ULYSSES consortium to promote better, but also, and perhaps more importantly, more coordinated policies in response to price volatility. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bali. And now I give the floor to the representative of the European Commission, Mr. Aniotis.
Thank you very much, Chairman. It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to be amongst you. I will be very brief in my introductory comments because you were also very generous in giving me plenty of time afterwards for my introduction. But what I would like to mention is the importance and the pertinence that the topic that we will be discussing has for the future. Of course, if one were to look at newspapers today, one would say, what food price volatility? Because volatility is on its way down right now. But does this mean that it is on its way out? I think with Isabel Tejerina, which we know each other quite some time ago, when we first met 10 years or so ago, and we were discussing the then reform of the Common Agricultural Policy, two things we couldn't think about was, first, that we would face a situation of volatility like the one we faced recently, but more importantly, we would face a situation where prices would be so high, and yet still costs would be even higher. This, in a nutshell, says why the topic will continue to be pertinent. It is pertinent in the policy debate in the European Union, and that's what I will try to show in my intervention. It's very pertinent in the policy debate worldwide, and we have seen it in the issues of food security and price volatility that went together in the G20 context when agriculture was introduced as one of the topics. And I think it's exactly for this reason that this seminar is very important, not so much in terms of arriving at an overall agreement of what are the causes and what are the solutions. I think we're pretty far away from that. But in giving the opportunity for an open debate, and also for a focus not only on what seems to be similar among the various parts of the world, but what seems to be so different and therefore might require even further focus and different solutions in different parts of the world. With that, I stop here. Thanks again for the opportunity to be with you, and I guess the rest will come later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Agnatis. And now I give the floor to the director of CIRAM and coordinator of the project ULYSSES, Professor Garrido.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Rector. Mrs. García Tejerina, the General Secretary of the Spanish Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Environment, Dr. Agnatis and Dr. Valier. I'd like to give you my warmest welcome to the first international seminar of ULYSSES. I say first because there will be a second one next year in Brussels towards the end of the project. Project ULYSSES is a project of the European Commission 7th Framework Programme. The acronym ULYSSES makes reference to the title of the project, which is Understanding and Coping with Food Markets Volatility Towards More Stable World and EU Food Systems. The project's partners are the Technical University of Madrid, Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, Wageningen University from the Netherlands, Göttingen University from Germany, FAO, University of National and World Economy from Bulgaria, and the Joint Research Center of the European Union. ULYSSES' main goals are the following: review the literature on prices volatility of food and feed and non-food commodities. Secondly, analyze agricultural markets using updated data, new methods, and market linkages with a view to determine the causes of food markets volatility. Third, identify and evaluate the drivers and factors causing markets volatility and make projections for supply shocks, demand changes, and climate change impacts on agricultural production. The fourth goal is to evaluate the impact of markets volatility in the food supply chain in the European Union and in developing countries, and evaluate the impacts on households both in the European Union and developing countries as well. The fifth and last objective is to draw policy-relevant conclusions that help the EU define market management strategies within the CAP after 2014 and inform the European Union's standing in international context. I'd like to say that this seminar is co-organized with FAO and with the Forum for Agricultural Risk Management and Development, a platform and initiative of the World Bank. We thank our organizing partners for helping us prepare a very attractive program and for the contributions, not only in offering the participation of world-class presenters, but also, and it is very important, for helping us disseminate the activity around the world and raising the profile and relevance of the seminar. Let me express what we want to accomplish in this following 1 day and a half. We want to present the results and evidence of the food prices volatility. We want to present our work, ULYSSES work. We want to provide a venue for discussion on the relevance and implications of the reassessment and new analysis with expanded and updated databases. We want to bring together researchers and practitioners from different institutions to discuss issues and approaches. And finally, and since we are in the middle of the project, we want the seminar attendants to provide us with critical insight into ULYSSES project approaches and findings, because we still have time to focus our attention and to direct our work to the most relevant issues and topics. I hope we can accomplish all these goals, and I hope you can enjoy your attendance to this seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roberto. Finally, it's my pleasure to give the floor to the General Secretary of the Spanish Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Environment, Mrs. Isabel García Tejero. Isabel.
Thank you. Honorable Dean of the Politécnica University of Madrid, Mr. Carlos Conde, Director of Economic Analysis of the DG Agri of the European Commission, Dr. and friend Tassos Aniatis, Representative of FAO, Mr. John Valley, Director of the CEGRAM, Alberto Garrido, ladies and gentlemen. I'm greatly honored to take part in the opening of this international seminar on food price volatility, looking for viable policy approaches. I would like to thank the ULYSSES project of the European Commission, the World Bank, and the World Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations for their initiative in organizing this international seminar, which can only serve to make a positive contribution to the work already being carried out in the search for more stable food systems. Why are we, as a ministry, concerned with agricultural price volatility? There are two reasons for our concern. Firstly, food is an individual right and a collective responsibility. States, and those of us who form part of them, must ensure access to food for their people. Other cultural, civil, economic, social and political rights are subject to the right to food. The second reason is that price stability is required for the proper pursuit of agricultural activities. The tensions that hold between food supply and demand are well known. Indeed, they are mainly responsible for price volatility. A link can't be established, as certain attempts have been made to do so, between World Trade Organization agreements and negotiation and the price crisis in the agricultural sector. It is true that prior to the Uruguay round, which led to the signing of the Marrakech Agreement in 1994, governments had a greater capacity to stabilize their internal market by means of national agricultural policies, such as the Common Agricultural Policy, which, by means of border measures or price guarantees, reduce possible tensions internally. Nevertheless, neither are these policies tension-free. Indeed, the Uruguay round began precisely to put pay to the numerous trade disputes that had occurred prior to these round negotiations. There is little doubt that trade liberalization contributes to creating wealth for society as a whole. Nonetheless, it is also true that agriculture has aspects peculiar to its sector that give rise to price volatility, the effects of which globalization swiftly transmits to international markets. Price fluctuations have serious negative effects both on producers, owing to uncertainty generated, as well as on consumers in low-income countries, for whom they mean greater problems of food access and consequently greater food insecurity. To the foregoing, one must add that periods of great price instability discourage investment in agriculture and agricultural research, which in turn has negative repercussions on the world food supply. Given all of these conditioning factors, we ought to adapt our agricultural policies to enable them to continue to meet their goals, among which, without a doubt, pride of place must go to ensuring that nutritional needs of the world's population are met. In Europe, the common agricultural policy has been successively reformed to adapt to the new international rules. This has greatly reduced public intervention and those measures that could cause greater market distortion. In fine, the idea is to maintain a balance between the removing of trade barriers and to encourage an increase in transactions and the continuity of some mechanisms that take the peculiarities of the agricultural sector into account, all of which must be achieved by way of an appropriate treatment of developing countries. The idea is to quote the Nobel Prize winner Amartya Sen, who said, to introduce an ethical dimension to globalization, to which I would add, without foregoing it, given that, as I have said, globalization is a key element in the generation of wealth and development. Climate is undoubtedly another conditioning factor in this debate. Given the delicacy of the farming and livestock sector in the face of climatic adversities, it is advisable to have a tool to manage weather risks that make it possible to stabilize farm holding income. I am delighted to say that the Spanish agricultural insurance system is, at present, a reference for other countries, a public-private model that has managed to develop towards bringing the insurance into general use. Even though the insurance does not directly affect price discovery, it does exercise an important influence on access to credit, on increasing investment and innovation policies, and in fine, on the sustainability and resilience of agricultural undertakings. Nobody questioned the fact that it is essential to guarantee the requisite stability for farmers in the pursuit of their activity. For that very reason, national and supranational agricultural policies must be coordinated and provide instruments that correct and lessen market imbalance. Policies which prove compatible with good market functioning while at the same time opting for sustainable increase in farming production. Accordingly, Spain is actively participating in the creation of a global agricultural market information system, which is a G20 initiative within the framework of the Action Plan on Food Price Volatility and Agriculture. This platform has been created to improve agricultural market transparency, facilitating the availability of information and improving response capacity and coordination. I would like to finish by saying that for Spain, improving agricultural productivity and its returns is a priority. To this end, we are clearly committed to research and innovation as we are to advancing risk management, climate, market, and financial policies and instruments. There is no doubt that by meeting the 6 aims set by the Ulysses project, we will have a solid base available to us. On this base, the ground plans and strategies will improve the resistance and capacity of countries to maneuver in the face of market instability. I am convinced that the documents and conclusions of this international seminar will go no small way to contributing to this aim. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks. General Secretary of the Spanish Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Environment, Professor Garrido, coordinator of the European project Ulysses, Mr. Amiotis, Director of Economic Analysis of the DG Agriculture and Rural Development, Mr. Valli, representative of FAO, of FAO, authorities, esteemed researchers, participants in this international seminar, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say just a few words to thank you very much for coming to Madrid to participate in this seminar, where I am sure you will find the suitable scientific environment to share your knowledge and to enjoy the hospitality of my university and of this city. The Universidad Politécnica Madrid is the largest technical university in Spain for the number of students, about 38,000 students, and also for the number of research projects with public and private institutions, having many agreements with the most prestigious university around the world. All specialties in engineering, architecture, and science for sports can be followed in our college and our faculties, and a large number of both our and foreign students obtain joint degrees or double degrees implemented jointly at our universities. In the last decades, the university has made significant investment in constructing research centers oriented to several subjects: transport technologies, aerospace engineering, telecommunication, computer science, biotechnology, and food and agriculture science, and amongst many others. Many of them are located in the campus of Moncloa, near to this hotel that today is hosting this international seminar about food price volatility. One of them is CEGRAM, a very active center of studies and research for the management of agriculture and environmental risk. Under the direction of Professor Garrido, the center developed intense research activities in the area of the risk management: drought, climate risk, agricultural insurance, damage evaluation, and a wide range of areas of normal interest. Without doubt, the activity of this research center, with others located in Moncloa campus, is why the Spanish government has awarded the campus with the distinguished title of International Campus of Excellence in Spain. One of very interesting projects of the 7th Framework Program for Research is developed at this center, CEGRAM, together with other universities, Wageningen University in the Netherlands, University of Göttingen in Germany, the United Nations and World Economic in Bulgaria, the Joint Research Center of the European Commission, and the Food and Agriculture Organization. This activity is the European project ULYSSES, and was related to Professor Garrido. One of his goals is to draw up relevant policy guidelines that help the European Union define specific market management strategies. This general intention leads the work of a group of research in my university involving different work groups. And for this reason, it's a pleasure and one honor for my university to organize today this seminar, Food Price Volatility, Looking for Viable Policy Approach. An honor that is greater due to the high quality of the work of many of you and for the relevant researchers who will take part in this seminar. I would like to thank the representatives of the different institutions that are collaborating with us, who were present with us today, and to the organizer of the conference for the works. Finally, thank you very much for coming, and my best wishes to you. And now can start the conference. Thank you very much.